My name is Adzhere.
What nationality are you?
Nationality, Crimean Tatar. Crimean Tatar.
What year were you born in?
In 1936.
At the time of deportation, how many people were there in your family?
At the time of deportation, in the family with my dad. Dad was taken to the labor army. He got to Tula. One brother was taken to Kibishevo and then to the army. When we were exiled from Crimea, there were grandma, me, mom, and my brother. There were 4 of us, and we got to Samarkand. In Samarkand, we got to the collective farm, Pravda. My grandmother died there 3 months later, and then a year later, my mother died. It was just the 2 of us, me and my brother. Then my aunt's son came back from the labor army and brought me here. My sister lived in the Markamat district. I was brought to her. She was looking after me. I was 8 years old. In Samarkand, we got to Katakurgan district, collective farm, Pravda. Grandma, mom, everybody died. They died there. It's just me and my brother left.
How were you told about deportation on May 18th? How were you told about that?
About deportation? How were they supposed to report it? They came and said that we have 15 minutes to get ready. Within 15 minutes, we were evicted from our house. We couldn't take anything with us. That's how we got into Samarkand. I don't know what we ate on the road. When the train stopped, everyone got down, kneaded the dough, and made scones. They came down with frying pans from the wagons. Then the train honked. Everyone grabbed their frying pans and ran to the train. That's how we got to Samarkand.
The official documents.
No, nothing like that.
How much time were you given to get ready?
They said 15 minutes. I don't know if it was 15 minutes or not. And then we were loaded in the cars. They loaded us on the trucks.
What could you take with you?
Which city? From Zankoy, perhaps. They loaded us on a train, but I don't know where they sent us from. So they took us there. We got to Tashkent, that is to Samarkand.
Did you take any food with you?
No. What products? We didn't take anything. I don't know what we ate during those 18 days.
How many members of your family were deported?
Our family? Dad got to Tula and was taken to the labor army. One brother ended up in Kibishevo, in the army. Grandma, me, mom, and my brother. 4 of us.
When you were loaded on the wagons, were you with your family? Were you all together?
Yes, we were all together. And the other brother wasn't in the village. He got to the Urals. And a year later, he found us.
Did the train stop often? How long did the stops last?
So your whole family didn't get on the same...
How long could it stand?
There were people who wanted to make scones, put a frying pan, but they didn't have time to cook. They had to run. That's how we got to Samarkand.
Were there any dead people in the wagons?
The dead, there was one relative, an old woman. She was sick. Grandma and mom said she died. She was in another wagon. They went there, and she must have been unloaded at some station, and nobody knows what they did to her. Was she thrown in the water, buried? Who would bury her? That's how we got there.
How were you met in the places of exile?
Who could have met us? There were 4 families in one big house. One family lived in one corner, another one in the other corner, the third one in the third corner. That's how we lived. And then I don't know what happened. I don't know if they gave us a separate house or what.
What was life like in the first months of exile?
What could life have been like in the first few months? When we were evicted from Crimea, my brother took a sack of wheat with him. This wheat we milled, and from oil cake that is fed to animals, we made rough scones, which are usually given to animals. It's like bran, mixing that oil cake, a handful from there, a handful from here. That's how scones were made. We also boiled a piece of dough, made noodles or soup. We ate with these scones. And if there was no flour, we made scones just out of an oil cake. The whole family died in a week. To the same grave. 2 boys died, both were put in the same grave. Let those days go, and do not return. Let no one be tested by it. And when we moved to Crimea, in 1944, we came there. A year later, the younger brother, Umer, came from the Urals. My mother died, and a month later, he arrived. Then my aunt's son came from the labor army. He found out that my mother had died, but he had no money to bring his brother back. And sister said, "Bring your brother and your sister, too." My little brother moved in with me. And the other brother stayed in Uzbekistan. He was sick. After we moved, he moved here 6 months later, too. He was hit with the buttstock. These places all turned blue. There was no money. He arrived without a ticket. He was beaten. His back turned blue from the beatings. That's how he got there, too. So we moved to Crimea.
Look, there is a question. How did you imagine your future before the deportation? We were kids. What could we imagine? And then?
And then the same. My mother was taken away when she died, but I couldn't cry. And the neighbor said, "This child's mother was taken away from her, and she can't even cry." I came home, burst into tears, and fainted right on the doorstep. And then my brother came and looked at me, and I was lying there. Let those days go away and never come back. Let no one see anything like this. Let all attest, no one with such days and war.
What was Crimea like for you?
What could Crimea be for us? Homeland, it's our homeland, longing.